Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 drops us into Seattle at night, a city divided by rival factions, ancient traditions, and a fragile code of secrecy known as the Masquerade. In this world, every action has weight. A careless slip could expose the existence of vampires to humanity, while the wrong political move might set rival groups against you. In this video, we'll cover the key things you need to know before starting Bloodlines 2. What the Masquerade really is, why factions are constantly at each other's throats, how hunters and mortals shape the balance of power, and why Seattle makes the perfect stage for a story of secrecy and betrayal. By the end, you'll be ready to step into the world of darkness with the context you need to enjoy the game's story from the very beginning. At its core, Vampire the Masquerade is not just about monsters lurking in the night. It's about the tension between what we appear to be and what we truly are. The setting belongs to a larger universe called the World of Darkness, a modern-day mirror of our own world, but colder, harsher, and more corrupt. It's a world where every conspiracy theory feels just a little too real, where institutions are subtly manipulated, and where supernatural creatures quietly pull the strings behind everyday events. Vampires in this universe are not flamboyant Gothic caricatures. They are predators forced to blend into human society. They walk our streets, wear our clothes, run our businesses, and whisper in the ears of politicians. Their survival depends not only on feeding, but on keeping the greatest secret of all, their very existence. This is where the Masquerade comes in. The Masquerade is the unwritten law of vampire society. Never reveal yourself, never let mortals know the truth. Break it, and you risk not only human retaliation, hunters, governments, religious orders, but also punishment from your own kind. The Masquerade is both a survival strategy and a cultural dogma, shaping the way vampires live, fight, and interact. Every story in this universe begins with that pressure, the need to hide in plain sight. But secrecy alone doesn't define vampire existence. What makes this setting compelling is the weight of history. Vampires are creatures who live for centuries, and with that longevity comes entrenched hierarchies. The older a vampire is, the more power they usually hold, often hoarding influence over younger generations. This creates a world filled with rivalries, betrayals, and political games where loyalty is temporary and alliances are fragile. It's less about who is the strongest and more about who can play the longest, most ruthless game of manipulation. And beneath the politics, there's something more personal, the eternal struggle between humanity and the beast within. Every vampire is cursed with an inner hunger, an animalistic drive to feed and kill. In the world of darkness, this beast is not just a metaphor, but a tangible, ever-present threat inside each character. That's why Vampire the Masquerade stands apart from traditional fantasy or horror. You aren't a shining hero. You're part of a secret society of monsters, constantly balancing secrecy, power, and morality. Every choice matters. Who you side with, who you betray, and how you survive in a world where shadows have their own history, and where the greatest danger is often another vampire smiling across the table. Seattle in Bloodlines 2 is more than a backdrop. It's a character in its own right. Unlike Los Angeles in the first game, Seattle is defined by sharp contrasts, gleaming tech towers above damp alleys, wealthy elites beside the homeless, old traditions clashing with restless change. It's a city of immigrants and dreamers, of booming industries and deep inequalities, the perfect stage for the world of darkness, where every bright light casts a shadow. For vampires, Seattle is a city in flux. No single faction has total control, so groups like the Camarilla, the Anarchs, and local barons fight constantly for influence. The developers describe it as a place of shifting allegiances and messy politics, unstable enough that one outsider can change everything. That outsider is you. As Fire, an elder vampire returning after years away, your presence disrupts the balance. Some factions see you as an ally, others as a threat, many as a pawn. Every choice you make shapes not only your survival, but the legacy you leave behind. The city itself reinforces this struggle. Each district is carefully designed to feel atmospheric and distinct. Neon-lit bars, corporate towers, underground clubs, and hidden corners where hunters prowl. Seattle's human population also matters. In an age of smartphones, surveillance, and organized hunter groups, the Masquerade is fragile. A careless slip, feeding in the wrong place, drawing too much attention, can bring swift consequences. What makes Seattle compelling is how alive it feels. Not an open-world playground, but a tense, rain-soaked city full of secrets where no one fully controls the night. It's a stage built for intrigue, betrayal, and fragile alliances. And with your arrival as fire, the balance of power is about to tip. In the world of darkness, no vampire stands alone. From the moment you enter Seattle in Bloodlines 2, you're caught in a web of rivalries and competing visions of how vampires should live. These divisions define the story, so it's worth knowing the key players. At the center is the Camarilla. Think of them as the Old Guard, a global sect obsessed with order, tradition, and secrecy. To the Camarilla, the Masquerade is sacred, not only because it protects them from mortals, but because it reinforces their hierarchy. Elders rule from the top, neonates are expected to obey, and everything is decided by influence, prestige, and centuries of precedent. In practice, the Camarilla functions like a shadow government. It manipulates politics, business, and culture from behind the scenes. In Seattle, their influence is strong but not absolute. They believe stability requires control, but their rigidity often alienates younger vampires who see them as hypocritical tyrants. Opposing them, though not always united, are the Anarchs. The Anarch movement was born out of frustration with elder dominance, and it thrives in cities where the old order has failed to take root. The Anarchs don't reject the Masquerade itself, but they reject the idea that a handful of elders should dictate everyone's existence. Their vision is more local, more democratic, and often more chaotic. In Seattle, they're especially influential, claiming parts of the city where the Camarilla's grip has slipped. Some anarchs are idealists fighting for freedom, others are opportunists who simply don't want to bow to anyone. Together, they embody the city's restless, rebellious energy. Then there are the independent powers, the so-called barons. These figures carve out territory and rule it as their own, neither fully aligned with Camarilla hierarchy nor bound to the anarch cause. Barons often resemble crime lords or local governors, enforcing their own codes and dealing pragmatically with whoever benefits them. In a fragmented city like Seattle, barons can become kingmakers, playing one side against the other while protecting their own turf. They add an unpredictable element to the political map because their loyalty lies not with ideology, but with survival and profit. Each faction offers a different path: the stability of the Camarilla, the freedom of the Anarchs, or the shifting deals of the barons. But every alliance has a price, and neutrality can make you a target. Seattle is unstable by design, and that instability is the fuel for intrigue, betrayal, and survival. In Bloodlines 2, your clan defines much of your identity, abilities, and how other vampires perceive you. Each clan comes with unique powers, social tendencies, and gameplay strengths, shaping both combat and narrative choices. Whether you lean towards stealth, magic, manipulation, or brute force, your clan will influence how you experience Seattle's politics and the Masquerade. For Bloodlines 2, the launch clans announced are Bruja, Tremere, Banu Hakim, Ventru, La Sombra, and Toreador, each offering distinct gameplay and narrative flavors. If you want a deeper dive into the playable clans and their distinct styles, check out our detailed video on the channel. It breaks down each clan, their powers, and how to approach them in the game. Vampires are both predator and prey, and survival depends on secrecy. The Masquerade, the code that hides your existence from humans, is fragile, and even small mistakes can draw deadly attention. In Bloodlines 2, Seattle's connected modern environment amplifies this danger. Surveillance, social media, and public witnesses mean that a single misstep can have wide-reaching consequences. One of the most persistent threats comes from hunters, human groups that actively seek out vampires. These range from lone zealots to organized, well-equipped cells that operate in shadows, employing both traditional methods and modern technology to uncover the hidden predators among them. Hunters are more than just a background threat in Seattle. The developers have made them an active part of the city's ecosystem. Their presence shapes how vampires move through the world, who they trust, and how boldly they can act in public. Even minor mistakes can attract attention, forcing players to consider carefully how they engage with humans in any situation. But humans aren't uniformly hostile. Ordinary people are mostly unaware, going about their lives while unknowingly sharing the streets with vampires. Yet their behavior indirectly affects your strategy. Surveillance cameras, social media, public witnesses, and police investigations can all escalate minor incidents into dangerous exposure. The Masquerade is a fragile construct, not just a rule of etiquette, but a practical shield against annihilation. In Seattle, where technology and connectivity are high, maintaining that illusion requires constant vigilance. Beyond humans, internal threats also loom large. Other vampires may act as hunters of a sort, policing those who break the masquerade or pursuing personal vendettas. Rival factions, ambitious barons, and elder vampires all watch for opportunities to exploit mistakes. Every decision, from who you ally with to how openly you display your powers, carries potential consequences. Even subtle social missteps can spiral into violence, political maneuvering, or outright exile. In gameplay terms, this means that combat, stealth, and social interactions are all intertwined. Engaging a human or vampire enemy without considering the repercussions can ripple across the city's political and social landscape. Feeding in public may attract attention from mortals and rival vampires alike. Ignoring the masquerade may grant short-term freedom, but it comes at the cost of long-term danger. Players must constantly balance risk, reward, and secrecy. Seattle, in particular, amplifies these tensions. The city is modern, connected, and unpredictable, making it an environment where even careful planning can go awry. Every street, every club, every corporate office may hold a witness or an enemy. Hunters, mortals, and rival vampires all form a dynamic, reactive ecosystem that keeps the city alive and keeps the masquerade under constant threat. As we wrap up this introduction to Bloodlines 2, it's important to step back and consider the bigger picture. This is a game that rewards preparation, observation, and patience. Seattle is a city alive with secrets, rivalries, and opportunities, and your choices will ripple through every corner of its nocturnal society. The masquerade is fragile, and every action, from feeding to conversation, from political alignment to personal vendettas, can have consequences that echo long after the immediate moment. You are not entering a world of simple heroes or clear victories. In this city, morality is gray, power is subtle, and survival is earned through cunning and awareness. The factions you encounter, the Camarilla, the Anarchs, and independent barons, each have their own agendas, and understanding how they operate is crucial to navigating their world successfully. Humans, too, are unpredictable. Hunters, authorities, and ordinary bystanders create a complex ecosystem where even minor mistakes can threaten the masquerade and draw unwanted attention. Your clan and personal choices further shape your journey. Each decision you make, how you feed, who you trust, what alliances you pursue, affects not only your character, but the larger narrative unfolding around you. This is a world where relationships, reputation, and perception are as potent as any physical power or supernatural ability. To make the most of your experience, pay attention to every detail. Listen to the whispers of the city, observe how factions interact behind closed doors, and think carefully before acting. Remember that the story isn't just in the missions and quests, it's in the subtleties of dialogue, the consequences of your actions, and the political currents that shift around you. Engage deeply with the world, and you'll find that every choice matters. Above all, approach Bloodlines 2 with curiosity and strategy. Embrace the gray morality, respect the masquerade, and balance your predatory instincts with the patience and cunning that survival demands. This is a city of intrigue, power, and danger where the night is alive with possibility, and every decision can tip the balance in unexpected ways. Step into Seattle's shadows with awareness, and you'll find a story that challenges not only your reflexes, but your judgment, your strategy, and your understanding of what it truly means to live as a creature of the night. In the end, the city is waiting, the factions are watching, and the masquerade will test you at every turn. Your journey as Fire is just beginning, and how you navigate this intricate web of politics, power, and secrecy will define not only your survival, but the very shape of Seattle's nocturnal world.